Hey guys, JM here again. This is going to be what if Takemichi was a fighter. Now that's what if it. This what if it is based off just speculation I have, and then a bit of manga spoilers. Speculation I have is through teenager Takemichi. Now one thing I want to point out is that Takemichi and his crew were not expecting to fight third years. They're expecting to fight second years, which I assume would put them off guard by a lot. Also, Takemichi and his crew seem to be very subservient. I guarantee you at one point Kiyomasa was all alone and they could have jumped him. But they respect their superiors and they would not have jumped Kiyomasa due to the fact that it would have been a dirty trick. Despite Kiyomasa surprising out of nowhere with his just third years who are used to beating the shit out of everyone since their first year of middle school probably. So I think it's just a mixture of respect and then just surprised that they lost the fight. But then Takemichi was known to be good at fighting as a teenager. But then he lost to Kiyomasa with their high school just apologizing to everything and everyone, then leaving. But then, one only instance we see him fight, it's always been a one-hit knockout, or he hits you so damn hard you're sent flying meters back like how Draken hit Hanma. So teenage Takemichi may have been an absolute unit, but adult Takemichi was just so unused to fighting that he never learned how to get back in the swing of things. Although Takemichi may have possibly been someone who could be above Chifuyu, in my opinion, because he hit Kakucho and almost knocked him out in one go. I think he could have not knocked him out if he was still kept fighting. So Takemichi never got back in the swing of thing, never got back in the swing of fighting as he was as a teenager, so he was not really good at it anymore, which in my opinion kind of sucked. So this one is basically if Takemichi just not that he kept fighting, but he never forgot how. Takemichi was less apologetic and less he's mainly less apologetic and less wimpy. Now with this, well, that would be a very hard thing to do considering how Takemichi lived life. What I do is that Takemichi was more regretful of everything, but barely ever apologized, and blamed Kiyomasa for every little thing that went wrong in his life. He blamed Kiyomasa for every little thing. With that, Takemichi would, still... But one thing that changed the most is his manager. His manager can tell Takemichi hates her completely. And he doesn't even apologize for half the things he does wrong. But the thing is, whenever he would have to apologize, he just does his job better than he did before, which she counts as the apology. But we go into those random kids scratching the car. We won't want him to crash the car. Takemichi just put his arm out, really came by the backpack, pulling him back. The guy thought Takemichi did. Takemichi held up a kid holding a quarter. Takemichi just didn't really care much about life, and well, he wanted to just go as easy as possible, but still blamed Kiyomasa for every little thing. Until he got to the train tracks, got pushed on, everything goes the same way, all the way up until he fights Kiyomasa. But Takemichi already knew this was going to happen, because Kiyomasa was the one thing he hates more than anything in history, besides Tokimachi Gang. But Kiyomasa specifically ruined his life in his opinion. So Takemichi, that's when Takemichi will, as they're approaching, he then says he realized something today. The question when he realized, he said he got some info for the second years are on a field trip. Third years are going to be the ones they're fighting. Only Akun got nervous. I said Takemichi, he knows this. Takemichi then says, "Don't worry, he'll handle Kiyomasa. Just be on guard." And I assume that Akun would probably listen to this because Takemichi is probably the strongest one out of them all, but Akun probably has the most courage to lead them. I think that strength does not make leaders, and Akun may have not had the strength, but Takemichi had it all. So with this, when they arrive, Akun was already ready. Kiyomasa says, our second year's on field trip. Akun says, yeah, we know. We came here knowing we'd have to fight you. Kiyomasa just thought Akun was being gutsy. Immediately, as Kiyomasa leaned down to think that just kind of mock Akun, Kiyomasa suddenly just punched right in the face while forced by Takemichi, and everyone punches as Kiyomasa is sent flying back, hitting just landing on his back unconscious. Takemichi then says he's gonna make sure that Kiyomasa will never do any delinquent shit again. Then Kiyomasa's right-hand man rushed at Takemichi, only for him to be decked right across the face as well, being knocked out in one blow. And the question Takemichi was what's gotten into him. Takemichi then says he's extremely pissed. Then Kiyomasa would wake up shortly after, trying to get up, only for him to be kicked right across the face by Takemichi. Takemichi then holds down Kiyomasa and proceeds to wail on him over and over and over. And Kiyomasa's group was severely outnumbered, and Takemichi's cousins ran away in fear that reduced their numbers by a lot as well. That led to actually them overwhelming the other few guys who were there. And after Takemichi was done with Kiyomasa, the other guy he knocked out got back up, and Takemichi knocked him right back down. So, in place of Takemichi's group being beaten down for the whole day, it's the third years of Shibuya Middle School. Kiyomasa just on the ground, just covered in blood and bruises. This is because, well, he fought Takemichi. And then the right-hand man was already just down for the count, and, Mikey was kind of questioning what got into Takemichi against Kiyomasa. And Takemichi this, and he says, never mind that, Kiyomasa just did something horrible. So yeah. After that, Takemichi would end up still going to Hina, everything goes the same way. Everything proceeds actually to be pretty normal all the way up until, like, we go on, it's like the whole arena fights. Kiyomasa challenges Takemichi one-on-one, and they do it, just those two together. That Kiyomasa was ready for a fight, sitting in front of Takemichi the moment he did arrive. And it wasn't going to be Takia versus anyone special, it would just be Takemichi versus Kiyomasa. When the fight started, Kiyomasa and Takemichi began fighting. Kiyomasa was on guard this time, which was still pretty challenging, but still Takemichi was still a pretty big unit. Like, his strength and his speed were actually, speed was pretty decent. His strength was the biggest part of it. And his endurance was pretty good. And the man can take hits like a champ, so that fight just ended, it lasted long, but ended pretty short for Takemichi, because he just took every single blow like it was nothing. Then eventually, Kiyomasa just got punched right in the face while horsed by Takemichi as hard as he can, and Takemichi's like using every bit of strength he has after just being beaten down halfway through. Kiyomasa even used a bat, but he still told no one to intervene. But Kiyomasa just knocked out one final time. Takemichi then says that this whole arena thing is now under his control. And from here on out, it's disbanded. If he hears that that's even gathered one more time, he'll come back and destroy it personally. Now that, the whole thing just disperses, and Takemichi, he goes to sleep, and wakes up the next day, arriving just to see some guys just clean the trash they had left that they had left there yesterday. Takemichi meets Naoto to hang out there, just for the hell of it. And eventually Mikey had arrived, questioning like where was the whole delinquent ring or the whole arena that he had heard of. It's Takemichi, and Takemichi says he ended it. Mikey asks how, and Takemichi says he beat the shit out of Kiyomasa. That's how. He's trying to start tracking that someone this small and not really important. We're trying to beat the shit out of Kiyomasa. That's the most important thing. So a random kid did that. So yeah. But we had to just move on all the way on to, I would say, probably just like I'd say we can move on to like the what was it? Fucking I do not know. I guess the most important thing would probably be like a lot of this remains pretty similar. Just Takemichi knows how to fight. I'm gonna go like give myself a whole rundown of the arcs one more time just to get it right. Pause. A lot of this arc remained very similar all the way up until it came down to Takemichi attending a Toman meeting. And Mikey is actually very aware that Takemichi took down Kiyomasa and Kiyomasa's right-hand man all at the same time. Then fought Kiyomasa one more time, Kiyomasa using a weapon, and then still beat the hell out of him. Then from reports, Takemichi's endurance and the strength were like the biggest important things about him. While speed was average, but his strength was just monstrous. Takemichi still had that, like, he still had a fighting spirit, just that fact. But yeah. But we just move on to Takemichi and the Toman meeting. He arrives. Takemichi still clears away from him. Takemichi, his rage towards like Kiyomasa subsided. But then, due to him realizing how strong he got just from being that angry and remembering how he wanted to fight Kiyomasa again, now he wants to take out all that rage on Toman, but in a different light. He wants to take out Toman. Well, not like a Toman. He wants to destroy whoever made Toman this bad. Because this is not the gang who would kill some random girl with a truck. So, someone did this, and he'll take it out on them. But Takemichi is basically just a gigantic ball of pent-up rage, and then him being a teenager, even more hormones making him even more angry. But yeah, but in this one, Takemichi didn't have Emma on top of him, so, and more or less like he was like, Emma was like kind of asking Takemichi, and right as he was to answer, he came into the past. He asked her to say what she said again. It's like, oh, don't do this. He's like, nah, I'm good, and walked away. So yeah. Then eventually, Hina was with Takemichi, and Emma just realized why he said no. Because he was clearly staring at something during the whole conversation. But yeah. But you see Patra and Peh-yan just still sort of like intimidate Takemichi. But everyone would come to a halt when they see Peh-yan kiss him flying back, and his arms just showed that he blocked something. Go to the question, what he just blocked, they see Takemichi walk out. Takemichi says, if you want to fight, let's do it here and now then. Peh-yan just mumbled, saying, you're strong. And dash at Takemichi, only for Pachin to grab Takemichi and slam him on the ground, and Peh-yan kicked the absolute shit out of Takemichi. But Takemichi just hopped back up, and will just grab Peh-yan, just try to punch at him. Now, everyone just realized that Takemichi's taking these hits full force from Pachin and Peh-yan all at once until not falling down, but instead just hacking back with just his insane strength, not going down. But eventually, Peh-yan actually did get hit once, and Peh-yan immediately could tell that this hit, well, Takemichi may knock him out in one blow if he needed to, but Takemichi simply lost a lot of strength just due to getting hit so much. Peh-yan hits the ground, standing back up, wobbly, as his nose is pouring blood. But he said that Takemichi's a good fighter. He should be in Toman, and he should take Kiyomasa's place. Pachin questions what Peh-yan is saying, and Peh-yan says he doesn't know. He's too dizzy. Just sits down, and Pachin then just looked at Takemichi, questioning. He questioned himself. Did Takemichi do that to Peh-yan? Someone who's stronger than a captain? Yes, Peh-yan is canonically stronger than Mitsuya. So, he's stronger than the captain. Or division commander. But, yeah. So, what this does kind of shock Pachin. Pachin immediately apologizes to Takemichi, and told Takemichi just to take Kiyomasa's place in his division. Takemichi was just so confused that he was going to have a fight a minute ago, or was losing a fight a minute ago. The next minute, he's invited into a gang. He then says, everyone who saw the scuffle, what happened? What do you think? Immediately, Baji had just spoke up, saying, he's weak. Oh, yeah, my bad. I hit something. But Baji said that Takemichi's pretty weak. But if he's able to put Peh-yan in that state from one punch, who knows what he could do if he gets stronger. So Baji's kind of on the fence about it, but does hope to fight Takemichi one day. Then Mitsuya then says, if he can make Peh-yan like that, he could probably knock me out in one shot. So why not? And immediately the whole second division heard that, and this is when Mitsuya looks at them saying, "You guys didn't know that Peh-yan was stronger than me?" Immediately everyone is just shocked. Well, the second division is, no one else is. And then Shifuyu would step up. After that, he wants to fight Takemichi. Takemichi says he can try to fight Shifuyu. Everyone in Toman seems to at least have experience with fighting. Takemichi can only fight basic delinquents, not gang members. Let Shifuyu and Takemichi fight, and the fight lasts for a whole 15 minutes. Shifuyu, Takemichi's been hit harder. So Takemichi is actually able to fight on par with Shifuyu, and actually almost eventually he does knock him out. But Takemichi is covered in just bruises and everything. Well, he already was from Kiyomasa, hitting him with a bat over and over again not that long ago. Then getting the shit kicked out of him by Pachin and Peh-yan all at once. And then now fighting Shifuyu. But Shifuyu took a hit head on, right to the chin specifically, and then knocked him out. But, yeah. But with this, we have to move on to the next crucial arc. The next crucial part of this arc. Which would probably just end up being Takemichi versus... Not Takemichi. Well, it would be Takemichi, Mikey, Draken, Pachin, and Peh-yan at that whole hideout place, or the warehouse place, when they see Osanai. So that's gonna happen. Osanai arrives. Osanai beats the shit out of Pachin. But Takemichi took this place in the third division. So this Pachin about to take the final punch. Instead of Mikey catching Pachin, Takemichi instead actually just grabbed Osanai's fist and then headbutt him. But Takemichi's short, we know this. But Takemichi knew where to place his headbutt just through instinct. He headbutted Osanai right in the solar plexus. Osanai's hit there head on. He's up stepping back, coughing, only for him to be punched in the chest over and over and over again by Takemichi. Then finally just gets a good blow to the gut and just falls to his knees. He's not even being able to catch his breath from Takemichi hitting him that much over and over again. He didn't expect some random runt to be that strong. He underestimated him heavily and didn't even go in for attack or have his guard up. He was just not ready to be hit this hard. But eventually he just punch right in the face, will look at Takemichi, as he sent flying back and out the door, unconscious. Now, Pachin would really have consciousness as he just smirked at Takemichi, saying, "I didn't need help." Only for Peh-yan to pick him up, saying, "Yes, you did." And immediately, everyone questions who Takemichi is, and, well, they think he's the 3rd Division captain, not Pachin. So, yeah. But with that, they leave, and, well, this leaves a big thing. One, Moebius is just too scared to attack. Not even the leader of Toman attacked yet, and Osanai's already taken down. It was just like that. Osanai wasn't ready for a fight. If he was, he would have beat the shit out of Takemichi. But Takemichi would have had worse treatment than Pachin would have. So, yeah. But yeah. Then after that, the next crucial part of the arc would probably be Takemichi versus, well, Kiyomasa's whole gang. But one thing went on. Takemichi, well, as an adult, does realize that he's significantly weaker than he was as a teenager. But he does actually ask Naoto to teach him how to fight. So while Naoto and him spend time studying, like, to replace like just a lot of things to actually tie in, Naoto does actually train Takemichi in how to fight and, well, just how to work his way around the battlefield. Takemichi will mainly face more future changes the moment he becomes, I guess, a Toman admin. Because that stays mainly the same, but yeah. But Takemichi does actually learn a bit of moves from Naoto. So, we learned a few moves on how to fight from Naoto and how to disarm. Like, mainly how to disarm, because, well, he's facing a guy with a knife. He needs to know how to do that. Most of these guys are delinquents who got their hands on a knife somehow that was able to kill Draken, and it was not a typical kitchen knife, so who knows what else I could get. So Takemichi is mainly aware now how to disarm, and mainly just like joint locks and holds, but also disarming. This is Naoto taught Takemichi. But Takemichi at this point, well, he's been fighting covered in bruises and maybe a broken finger or two. But now he's actually fully healed. He hasn't fought in a long time, but instead, well, mainly spent time in his, well, teenager body, learning how to execute these moves perfectly. He has like a Lickism parallel to Daniel Park, where he had trained in the future and in the past, but one in the strong body, one in the weak body, that kind of parallel. And, well, both bodies are eventually getting strengthened through doing this. It's just Takemichi can't go back and forth as he pleases. Naoto will not always be available for a switch, so it's gonna be kind of hard. But yeah, so Takemichi with this will eventually he would head on all the way on to just, I'd say, like I can say probably just go on to Takemichi versus Kiyomasa and his guys now. Takemichi reveals himself. Well, first he's like just revealed by like one of Kiyomasa's guys. And the guy would immediately just go to like hit Takemichi in the back of the head. Takemichi is like hit in the back of the head, but the guy just pulls at Takemichi with a knife, like scare him, only for his arm to be just put up in a hold and then broken. The guy screamed in pain, only Takemichi to kick him right in the neck, then pick up the knife and throw it right back at Kiyomasa. Kiyomasa barely dodged it. Well, he moved his head to the side. He gets a good right hook from Takemichi and falls to his knees. That hit shut him down. So, yeah. Takemichi had actually focused barely not even any portion of that punch, just moved fast. And that made Kiyomasa fall to his knees, just dazed. And the next guy, Takemichi was able to disarm him from his knife. Well, able to take his knife away from him. But when he did that, he's kicked right in the back, then kicked right in the face, and then he's just stomped out by like the 3 remaining guys. After that, Kiyomasa and a few of his other guys, I'll say there's like 6 of them. Takemichi was out to knock out a 4th one, but he didn't get to, and then he just stomped out. But the thing is, with him actually stalling for a lot of this, Hina actually saw what's going on, and she called out Mitsuya. Because he was going to rival Takemichi, but Hina called out what was happening, and he arrived and saved Takemichi in the nick of time, and told Takemichi, let's go. Takemichi, well, first handed Mitsuya 3 of the knives. Takemichi took 3 for himself and ran off. Mitsuya asked Takemichi why those guys had it. Takemichi explained that they were going to kill Draken. But suddenly Takemichi is grabbed by someone, only Takemichi off reflex to pull out a knife and stab the person right in the leg. Takemichi had heard a yell from Kiyomasa as he just ran forward, taking the knife out and just kept running. And as he ran, the battlefield went on, and they arrived right as Draken was knocked out. They arrived a bit late, which was due to Draken being unconscious. So Takemichi arrived right as Draken was going to be, this hit would have killed him, possibly, or just knocked him out for days on end. Instead, Mitsuya delivers a strong dropkick right to the side of the person's head. Takemichi begins just basically swinging rapidly. But eventually, well, he is just more and more beaten down like Takemichi usually does, till Toman arrives. Pachin's covered in bandages, but still, he's ready for a fight. That's what happened, and that's when Michi explains that some guys, mainly Kiyomasa's group, had knives, and Takemichi had tried to fight them all off because they were planning to kill Draken. Now they plan to kill Draken, and this one wasn't just for revenge. Well, Kiyomasa did have actually a plan in mind to kill Takemichi if he saw him, but mainly to kill Draken was a plan that was instilled in their mind via fucking Kisaki. The fact that if you kill Draken, Toman will fall immediately. You should know this. So if you want Toman to fall and Takemichi to pay, he'll kill Draken, and Toman will be too weak to actually defend one of his newer, stronger members, being Takemichi, and you can kill him like that. So mainly kill Draken to destroy Toman, then Toman's biggest moment of weakness, kill Takemichi. So yeah. But Takemichi kind of caught wind of that, so yeah. With that, well, Draken is actually being taken care of by Emma and Hina, and Takemichi just proceeds to fight alongside Chifuyu. Him and Chifuyu actually got along pretty well after him and Chifuyu fought. So yeah, because after him and Chifuyu fought, he killed Chifuyu, then talked to Baji for a bit. Then Baji had to leave, but left Chifuyu Takemichi. So Takemichi and Chifuyu going out to eat just get dinner with Hina. Then Takemichi and Chifuyu headed in the same way to go home, so they went along the way. But Takemichi and Chifuyu fight alongside each other, and they're able to take down a significant number of people there. But eventually it's just left up to Hanma versus, other guys are wondering about, Osanai, why he's not here. When Takemichi headbutted him, like, basically in the solar plexus, he broke one of his ribs. So Osanai's in the hospital. But, so Takemichi just basically fights alongside Chifuyu the whole time. So it comes down to Mikey versus Hanma. So Hanma had blocked one of Mikey's kicks. Well, Hanma then yelled now. It's one of the guys, he will grab Mikey, actually, he's in midair and throw Mikey down to the ground. But Hanma is about to go step on Mikey. Mikey doesn't have time to dodge as he's being held down from basically all four limbs. Hanma ends up falling to his knees. He's actually almost letting out a scream in pain, only to see Takemichi with a knife right in his back. That Hanma fell back, saying, "Retreat. We need to leave before cops and ambulances arrive." That Hanma pulls a knife out of him, drops it to the ground. Takemichi picks it up and puts it in his pocket. Mikey had thanked Takemichi, and this ends the whole turf war incident with Kiyomasa leaving with literally a stab wound in the back, or being stabbed in the back, literally. But yeah, pause it quick. After this, Takemichi does meet future Hina. It's just Takemichi in this one has actually, a bigger reputation among delinquents, and actually doesn't have a stab wound in his hand. And then Takemichi, alongside associating with delinquents, also became a delinquent legend that he stabbed Hanma, so that became a big deal. Takemichi with Hina, he did still meet Hanma in the bathroom. Hanma did the thunder stab Takemichi in the back the moment he left the bathroom. They were do a stand down between Takemichi and Hanma. Then Takemichi heard a loud crash. He heard a loud crash. Takemichi immediately just told Hanma to move, tried to dash past him. Hanma immediately went for a kick. Little Takemichi, just Takemichi's incident with the whole Moebius gang, his body grew more accustomed to fighting and actually training. Takemichi was able to move out of the way of the kick, and on instinct delivers a very strong kick to the back of Hanma, sending Hanma flying back. Not flying, but sliding back. Or tumbling forward. So, yeah. So that Takemichi would run as fast as he can, like right towards where the car was. Seeing Akun there, but immediately, he just runs and then looks at Hina, and spends his last moments with her. Then we move on to Hina's funeral, we move on to Death Row Draken, and we have to move on to Takemichi, who does get introduced not introduced, but yes, we have to go all the way on to Takemichi in the whole I guess when he first would meet Kisaki properly. So when he first meets Kisaki properly, it's joining the gang. Mikey announces that this guy will be joining the gang in place of a few recent incidents of Kiyomasa's group getting arrested and now Toman being investigated. Kisaki got them off Toman's trail, so now they owe him. Takemichi does like have a whole same incident with with Kisaki. When Kisaki actually hit Takemichi right in the face, Takemichi wasn't knocked out, but instead his nose was bleeding. And Takemichi had smirked as Peh-yan had punched. First off, Pachin had actually punched out Kisaki's bodyguard, only for Peh-yan to just give a good old kick to the side of the head of Kisaki. And Pachin had just said, "Don't touch Hanagaki." Takemichi thanked them, and Bachi did try to go for a punch, only for Chifuyu to grab Bachi by the back of his shirt and pull him back down. So yeah. Now, immediately Bachi tried to turn on Chifuyu, only for Mikey and Takemichi to intervene, and they question what Bachi's doing. Now that Bachi then says that everyone's getting lucky here today, I guess, because no one's getting hit, and the one person that did get hit tanked it, so yeah. We just said he's leaving Toman for Valhalla, and he left. Next day, Takemichi would meet Kazutora, and Takemichi gained a better reputation among delinquents because he stabbed someone, so, yeah. He actually does have the knife he stabbed Kiyomasa with, because, he doesn't trust it being left alone in this random place because it has his own fingerprints on it. So, yeah. But Takemichi would just basically go about with Kazutora. A lot of things go the same way with Takemichi seeing Chifuyu being beaten up by Baji and then meeting Chifuyu later on to basically form an alliance to investigate what's going on with Baji. Then they investigate they investigate Osanai. Takemichi would head back to the future to meet Death Row Draken again and find out Valhalla is supposed to be led by Mikey. And, a lot of that happens the same way, but I want to find out more about this arc just in case I need to go more in depth. So Mikey wants Baji back in the gang. That's like the meeting, like the night before the whole Valhalla incident, or before the Halloween brawl. For the name, I don't care, but I don't care really. So with this, Takemichi does agree. And before the event starts, we see Pachin step up and then say that he's like, if this war goes well and they win, and Baji does come back to Toman, Takemichi will get the position of the 3rd Division captain because Takemichi seemed to win the favor of him and Peh-yan pretty easily. That shocked Peh-yan, but still, Pachin says goes. But Kisaki had joined the the 1st division is left without a captain, so Kisaki became the captain of that division. Then his vice captain is the guy he brought along, who no one cares about, leaving Chifuyu alone in that division. But then Chifuyu came over to the 3rd division on Takemichi's request. So yeah, as we see Kazutora basically punch out the referee. He says that they're here for a slaughter. Suddenly, Kazutora has to block a punch. He sees him flying back with Takemichi. Takemichi then says, "Good, I'm here for the same thing." After that, Takemichi then dashes at Kazutora, and everyone would dash their own opponent. Basically, just Mikey stands still and watches. Draken goes for Tanma, and Kisaki actually observes Takemichi versus Kazutora. Kazutora does get a few good hits in, but he blocks all Takemichi's punches like he's nervous to take them head on. And everyone sees this. If you're good at fighting, you can see Kazutora's nervous to actually take a punch head on. But Takemichi is playing the waiting game. He's waiting for Chifuyu. Chifuyu basically got crowded and didn't have enough time, but Takemichi found a backup plan. He basically didn't go for punch, but went for a shove. Shoving kissed Kazutora right into Pachin, who saw this coming and then kick Kazutora in the back. Kazutora suddenly just punched in the face full force by Takemichi. But then, as Kazutora gets wobbling back, he gets a roundhouse kick from not a roundhouse kick, but basically gets just a kick to the back of the head from Chifuyu. And then we see a Yuji and Nanui combo performed by Chifuyu and Takemichi on Kazutora in this situation, who would be Mahito. Everyone's watching Kazutora being beaten down by these two because he got caught off guard by a few attacks. Suddenly they stop, because Pachin said, "Both of you stop." They did the for that. Then Pachin just goes lets an all-out punch. Lets loose an all-out punch on Kazutora's face, sending Kazutora flying back into Draken's feet. Kazutora's basically just breathing heavily, but then as Draken's off guard, just looking down on Kazutora, Takemichi would take the punch that Draken was supposed to be taking, and then takes it right to the face. Takemichi basically hits the ground unconscious. Draken immediately spun around, kicking Hanma right inside, then uppercutting him, sending him flying back the same distance. As Kazutora's trying to get back up, Draken just basically stomps Kazutora's head. Then we'll see something shiny fall out of his pocket. Draken picks it up, seeing a knife, and puts it in his pocket. When Kazutora, he was going to fight dirty. But immediately, Kazutora stood up as he realized the knife was gone, and yelled, "Baji must die." Then Mikey had just, not Mikey, I mean, Kisaki then mumbled, saying, "You blew it, you damn idiot." But immediately, the two people that were close that heard that were Mikey and Baji. With that, Baji ended up kicking Kazutora in the ribs full, not Kazutora, I mean, kicking Kisaki in the ribs full force, only for Mikey to just, run and kick Kisaki in the side of the head as hard as he can, knocking him out. And Mikey had yelled, you think you can play me, huh? You'll die here today. You try to kill Baji, I'm gonna kill you." And the one that would have been beaten to death here would be Kisaki, on the condition that Takemichi didn't stop it. Takemichi's still kind of like canonical Takemichi. It's just he wouldn't kill anyone because he's a decent person, so no one dies. Like, he still stops Mikey the same way he did in canon. So yeah. Pause real quick. So Takemichi still acts as a punching bag for two punches, just to stop Mikey from killing Kisaki's head Kazutora, because Draken had already took him out for good by stomping on his head. Not killing him, but he's knocked out. Which does lead to Baji still living. And everyone can kind of tell that the guys that were gonna fight against Kisaki originally were just gonna fake it, because immediately as the hoax was called, a lot of them rushed Takemichi, including rushed at Mikey, including a lot of them that were from the 3rd Division, who joined with Kisaki, of course. The guy in the mask that was knocked out and quote unquote knocked out and one hit by Kisaki. This one he's truly knocked out by Takemichi, who sends him flying back. And Takemichi then yells that this 3rd Division protect Mikey. Baji steps up, and then says Peh-yan and everyone else, then including Chifuyu. They jump in, and they proceed to deliver a good old-fashioned beatdown on everyone that's running at Mikey. When they're done, Takemichi already beat down the 3 guys, or 3 brothers that were trying, 2 of them, I guess. The one in the mask is one of them. The other 2 brothers that were trying to hold down Mikey while Kazutora beat him with a pipe. I think Takemichi had fought 2 of them at once, but was only able to hold them off briefly until Chifuyu and Baji joined in, and then Baji beat down one of them. Chifuyu took on the other one. So, yeah. Now with this, we have to go on to this arc ending, I guess, would be the important thing. Because, with the arc ended, I'm going to have to now go into more manga-exclusive things. Well, the main thing would probably just be Takemichi becoming now a Toman admin. And with him being an admin, Takemichi in this one has a higher reputation for the fact that he, quote-unquote, beat Kazutora, or was a big part in Draken beating Kazutora. So rumors even got out of hand to the point where the rumors were basically, he beat Kazutora, but Draken took the credit for it. People assume Takemichi is insanely strong like that. In reality, Kazutora could not have beaten Takemichi. Takemichi just had a good set of circumstances to fight Kazutora. And one-on-one, he would have lost. The circumstances that were here, he would have won. Either way, he was winning. So yeah. And Takemichi, due to him being in Toman a bit earlier and having to get to know a lot of people just through his strength and skill, he knew Hakai, and he didn't know Hakai personally, but knew who Hakai was. But still, this kind of went the same way. It's just Takemichi was a little more feared by Kisaki, who instead joined the Black Dragons, then led his way into Toman, just through the side by leaking them information about the Black Dragons, which allowed him to go back in and become one of the heads, basically. So by basically leaking information, he became one of the heads of Toman. Takemichi was the only one from the OG Toman that he knew, besides Chifuyu, that was there. And Hakai, but not a lot of people were there from the OG Toman. Pachi and Peh-yan were there, but Baji wasn't. Mainly Anger were there, but Mitsuyo wasn't. So many people were not here that he would have preferred to be here over a certain select number of people. But still, Takemichi does get shot in the leg. Takemichi shot in the leg, Chifuyu's killed. But the one to save Takemichi, actually no. I have a better idea. As Chifuyu's about to be shot in the head, the lights would go off, and everyone just hears one loud gunshot, but then they all hear Kisaki yell in pain, the lights come back on, and Takemichi's being carried out of the window as he sees a knife right Saki's chest, but barely missed his heart. Takemichi could tell that if it was in the heart, he'd be dead, but it missed. If Takemichi's carried out by someone, then Shifuyu's also carried out by someone. Shifuyu isn't he had a graze on his head, but not a gunshot. So, like, he wasn't shot in the head, he has, like, a graze wound. But yeah. Then they arrive under a bridge, and, well, Kazutora and Baji are the ones that rescued them. Takemichi was being carried by Kazutora, and Baji had carried Shifuyu. Kazutora was actually able to, Baji visited in prison in juvie constantly. Baji visited Kazutora, and Mikey had actually come along occasionally, and that kind of mended a few things. So, that kind of fixed a lot of it. Takemichi is the same rundown from Kazutora they got in canon, and eventually they do go to the cops. Takemichi does the whole, like, I killed Hina. So, he has to go through that whole thing again. But no one is ready for long hair Kazutora. No one is. At all, I swear to God. Like, no one is ready for Toji. No one is ready for Toji. No one's ready for Gojo versus Toji. No one is ready for, well, I'd say Naoya due to just his appearance, and then burnt Maki. No one's ready for her, despite her being burned. She's really hot still. And then no one is ready for long hair Kazutora. Not one person is. I promise you that. Well, and Izuna. Not Izuna. Izuna. So Izuna. No one's ready for Izuna and long hair Kazutora. But, yeah. Now, this we basically just end this arc. Takemichi back in time. And he's bowling with Hina. But next to him is Hakai. Takemichi, he's on a double date. He's on a double date with Draken and Emma. And Takemichi actually, had the idea, not Takemichi. Hina had the idea to go on a double date, because Takemichi, almost got put in the hospital on their first date, double date at least. And Draken was kind of nervous to call it a double date, because he didn't think he was dating Emma, but Emma called it a double date. So he'd be treating Emma like his girlfriend the whole date. But immediately, Draken decided he had to go real quick, and it was now just Emma, Takemichi, Yuzuha, and Hakai. Takemichi, Hina, Hakai, and Yuzuha, and Emma. Then, as in Black Dragon territory, Takemichi, Yuzuha, and Hakai put up the main fight. The one guy that tried to threaten Takemichi just punched her in the face by Takemichi. But Emma had told Draken, telling her just sending him a big message saying Black Dragon. After that, Draken had arrived and began fighting alongside Takemichi. So with this, we just go on to see just Draken arrive halfway through. He arrived like right as Taiju was about to try to basically slam Takemichi. But Draken basically picked up Taiju and slammed him on the ground full force. It means Takemichi basically slammed his fist in Taiju's face full force. And Takemichi's punch was able to make Taiju fall to his knees for a brief second. But Takemichi in this one's a bit stronger. He just is. Just anime / manga growth and power. Takemichi had one of those and slammed his fist in Taiju's face as hard as he could. And it actually will not knock him out for about 5 minutes. As he woke up, the whole Black Dragon's crew had actually disbanded. Not disbanded, but had basically left there because they got beaten up by Takemichi, Draken, Hakai, and Yuzuha. So they're basically just overwhelmed in power. So yeah. Pause real quick. So Takemichi, a few days passed, 3 days specifically. Takemichi decided to learn the whole thing about between Yuzuha, Hakai, and Hakai, so they fabricated a bit, but Takemichi, he talked to Yuzuha, and she told him the full story and the real story. So yeah, you tell Yuzuha that Hakai lied, and she doesn't understand why he would have lied. She doesn't like it, but she understands. But now for the next meeting, Takemichi, first off, Peh-yan kept his promise and made Takemichi 3rd Division captain. But now Takemichi brought it up to Mikey about the whole Hakai and Yuzuha thing. Mikey said he can't do anything about familial issues. But Takemichi explains that him, Draken, Emma, Hina, Hakai, and Yuzuha were attacked by Black Dragons. The only person that was not a concern of it was Hina and Yuzuha. Yuzuha could fight, but Emma is related to Toman, so she's a big part of it. Yuzuha isn't really related to Toman. She said she doesn't really have any strong connection besides Hakai, and then Hakai isn't really prevalent for a lot of people. But yeah. But eventually, well, Mikey does decide to actually fight against the Black Dragons, which lead to a longer war. Because because Toro was defeated and Saki was outed as being the rat, all of Valhalla basically left, leaving like Chombo, Chome, and Choji versus Mikey. Well, they tried to fight Mikey, but it just ended up being Takemichi, Baji, and Chifuyu. So maybe between 4 to 10 guys was the highest number that war went on for after the first 5-10 minutes. After 10 minutes, the war dumbed down, and then there was 10 guys left, and that took a whole of 2 minutes. So there wasn't really a war, more like just Toman just violating because they took down one of the heads. So yeah, and this one is going to make up for that war. As on Christmas Day, it'll begin. And Akai basically left a letter for Taiju. Taiju got the letter, got the notice, and was like, okay, then if he wants a war, there's a war. And they're having it right outside the church, so yeah. But Takamichi is going to be the one at the head of it alongside Mikey because it was his idea. So with this, immediately, we see Taiju just ask why Takamichi up there with Mikey. Mikey says that Takamichi will be the one fighting Taiju, not him. I thought Takamichi and Taiju being fighting, only for Taiju to basically just beat the absolute dog shit out of Takamichi. Takamichi in this one does get in that same good one punch after Taiju's jaw full force. But Takamichi, he's actually learning how to fight briefly from basically every single angle that can help him. Draken gave him a few tips. Naoto helps him. Naoto still helps him with even more things than just holds and disarming, and joint locks. And Chifuyu gave Takamichi a bit of advice and actually proper teachings. And his speed actually increased, which is very important. So Takamichi basically burst out using all of his speed and strength all at once, delivering a very strong punch for Taiju's face as hard as he can, and actually will send Taiju sliding but kind of rolling back a bit. Taiju then stands up a bit, just a bit dazed. Only for Takamichi just jump in the air and deliver a very strong kick basically just to his face as hard as he can. Then Taiju hits the ground, Takamichi will hold him on his neck and just will punch him in the face over and over and over again. Basically, he delivers, you know how in the manga Takamichi and Mikey fought in the whole Kanto Manji gang versus Brahmin and Rokuhara. When Mikey beat up Takamichi in that fight, Takamichi is basically kicking the shit out of Taiju like that. Taiju gonna stop it because he's kind of just basically at the point of being unconscious from just a few hits he took from Takamichi. So Taiju is basically hospitalized after Takamichi fought him because Takamichi hits insanely hard for no reason, besides being a protagonist. But eventually, Taiju defeated. Dragons couldn't really retreat. Takamichi would find Inupi about to basically land a lucky hit in on Hakai. Once Takamichi basically just hit Inupi in the side as hard as he can, and Inupi's immediately knocked out. But Takamichi just fell to his knees unconscious, and everyone could tell he was asleep. Not asleep, but just knocked out because he fought Taiju. So yeah. But I think this was mainly in Black Dragon arc, and I'm probably gonna end this part here, but it's enjoyed because it's late. But if you guys enjoyed, goodbye, like and subscribe, or at least use personalized notifications. See ya.